Well, as you can see, it's been some time since the last clip was recorded. Spent that time trying to troubleshoot this and figure out the issue. And what we're getting, refresh, is we're getting low audio out through the loudspeaker, and we're getting no activity on the Magic Eyeball. Since the last clip, what has happened on my end is I've ordered another set of tubes, completely all the way around, excluding the iTube. iTube is nice and bright, and honestly, I wasn't sure how to test it up until just a couple nights ago. I seen a video, and the guy put the iTube in his tube tester. So I haven't checked my tube tester charts to see if it will support this tube or not. So that's an unknown at the moment. But visually looking at it, it's nice and bright. I've gone through the schematic and I've checked all my connection points and made sure that all the components are in place where they're supposed to. I checked wiring, make sure everything is in their proper location. I've checked voltages as far as voltages are concerned. Some were where they're supposed to be, others not much, not really. For example, the panel, let's see, got this upside down, I guess that would help, huh? Here on the panel where we've got the transformer out, about this side, that's where it's really at. I was only reading 0.5 volt coming out of the transformer, and it should be a high voltage. I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to be, but I know it's supposed to be higher than 0.5 volt. So I was referencing ground, so I'm not sure if I was doing it correctly. I believe I was. All my heater voltages are on par. I was checking them per the schematic here, X and Y. And all my 12 volt tubes were reading 12 volt, and my one 6 volt was reading 6 volt. So heater volts are good. And then with the pictorial, I went through and again visually followed wires, followed components, made sure everything was nested and mounted where it should have been. No issues there. I also went through and checked the continuity of the wires, make sure I didn't have a break within one of the wires, and they all beeped, so no issues there. And this here is the chart that did the pictorial for the wiring. I did find one wire that I thought was on the wrong leg, but after double checking, it was there. Found another wire here in this pictorial which is completely missing, and I went back to my reference photos and it was not there before I started. So not sure what's up with that one, but that's the only issue at hand. And really there's nothing coming from the back side through that hole. As far as components, check components to make sure that they were all soldered properly. I did find a couple. I found a resistor here that was loose, and so I went ahead and resoldered that back. I found a resistor up here that was loose, and I soldered that. And then down here, this gangle of wires, only this black wire right here was soldered. This wire was soldered, this one was not. And then a wire coming from the Magic Eye, I lied. This wire coming up here from this socket was not soldered. And then down here I'd put a cross the line safety cap, a Y2 cap. I found that one of the legs on that was also not soldered. So I went ahead and took care of all that and double checked and made sure everything was corrected. That's not a problem. And then on this chart, I went back and confirmed that on my custom filter board, everything was wired correctly as it should be. The hump went to the hump, the square went to the square, triangle went to the triangle, plane went to the plane, etc., etc. And with all that said and done, as you know, those that follow my channel know that I have vision issues and I have distortion in one of my eyes. And so it's very plausible that I indeed could have missed something, which apparently I did with the soldering. A lot of light, a lot of magnification helps me out great. But on this project here, I have to give a big thumbs up to Mrs. V.E.G. She was a champ, a sport. She came in not knowing a thing about electronics, but she sat right down and gave me great help. She too went through and double checked all my work and confirmed everything is wired as it should. She's actually the one who went through all the wiring itself and did the wire, not me, so I can't take credit for that. But I did go through and double checked her work, so there, take that, wife. She also helped me confirm that my custom power supply filter board was also correct, and she helped me work on it too. She did a little bit of soldering, and she cut the heat shrink tubing and put that on, and a real sport, and she's showing great interest into electronics. So hey, maybe she'll have her own vintage electronics channel someday. You never know. Let's see here. With that, I also went through with another signal tracer and the O-scope, inputted a signal, followed it all the way through. Like I said, I do get a signal coming out of the loudspeaker. We'll fire this up here in just a moment and demonstrate. What we also found by doing this with the other signal tracer is we get to this point here, we have a really nice loud booming signal. But on the other side of the transformer, it's not loud, not booming. So I very well may have an issue with that. Try to check the transformers on the secondary side to make sure I'm getting my voltage and ohms out. I failed at that. I sucked really bad. I don't have a lot of experience working with transformers. And honestly, this is my first major overhaul of a tube type device. And but I do have a lot more tube type devices I need to work on. So I failed on that, and I failed on that, and I kind of failed on this project. I don't know where the problem is. I just don't know. So I've contacted Doug Mosslack at the YouTube channel Mosslack. There will be a link to his channel below, and definitely go over there, check him out, and subscribe. Tell him I sent him your way. He'd appreciate that. So I contacted Doug for F1, and he's been kind enough to take this project on for me and see if he could resolve the issue, or at least try to identify where the failure's at. So when he starts to upload his videos on this, two things on my channel. One, I'll go ahead and link below to his direct video, and in my playlist I will also include his video into that. So definitely check out my playlist, check out his channel, and subscribe. So let me go ahead and get this set up, and we'll check it out real quickly, and we'll see what's happening here. I've got a I got the audio generator plugged in to the RF port. I'm running a 350 hertz tone in there for no other reason, because, well, it's a lot better than 1000. We're going to take my other signal tracer and we're going to hit here, and we're going to see that our sound is low. We go to ground with this one. And then we got to ask ourselves, did we even turn it on? No, we did not. And that could be why we're not hearing a signal out of the speaker. That would be a good clue. Okay, so now we hear the signal coming out of the speaker. Not very loud. I've got the gain on this turned up to about half. And I've got the gain on this on half. So you definitely hear this thing is a lot louder than that. This thing here should be booming, and this is not. So with that, we're going to go to the other side of the transformer, which is going to be our ground wire there, and then I believe this white wire right here. Which, as you hear, it's the same loudness. So this very well could be my problem right here. Again, I really don't know. Now, if I were to put this on the AF side, you could hear, well, you probably can't hear, the audio on that is extremely low. And that's half volume. So yeah, I'm starting to think maybe it is that. So this is full blast. Just no gain. And let me spin this around, and you can see there's no deflection in the eye tube. Let me zoom you in closer on the eye tube. Alright, so we'll do that again. Okay, so with all that said, let's go ahead and turn this down just a little bit. And then we're going to take the O-scope and let me adjust the light here real quick. Okay, so we can see the scope there. Alright, so we see we have a nice good signal right here on the input of that transformer. Let me move this up to the top. So we're at the top of this graticule here. And then if I move this to the output, and so here on the output you can see that we have nothing. I have the amplitude on the AF generator all the way up. And you can see we have just a little there. There, you can see that better. So that's the output. So that's it. I'm starting now to think that the issue is right here. So Doug, when you start on this, maybe check this out. Might save you a whole bunch of work. Alrighty, well, that will do it for me. And like I said, go over and check out Doug's channel to finish this project out. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Take care.